Hello. Welcome again to my channel. My name is IJ. My channel is Tell IJ, where you can write in and share your story, your idea, and if you have something you want to share with my audience, who I like to think watch from all over the world, then please by all means send me your comments or send me your story, and you're very welcome. And I promise your name will not be used unnecessarily. Okay, welcome again. Please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button, and by all means, share this video with your friends and family. Today, I want to talk about some other thing that's been trending. Well, it's not just trending, it's a topic very dear to my heart, which I've come across people directly who've been involved in it, heard different stories coming from victims, and listened to so many videos out there, and that's the topic of domestic violence. And what is the church? And in a way, I am very reluctant to use the word church, because I myself, being a proud Christian and a believer, have come to understand, and I do feel frustrated in the fact that we do know there are a lot of charlatans out there who claim to be pastors, who are not really pastors, but I like to say these are all more like witch doctors and black magic doctors who have reinvented themselves effectively in a way and bit of making money off of their community. But let's talk about domestic violence, because recently there was another video trending, about a very unfortunate situation of this lady. I don't want to capitalize, like it seems like every Tom, Dick and Harry making video just for the clouds or whatever. But this lady, Osinachi, was a gospel singer in Nigeria. I wasn't aware of her. And before that, I've come across so many other videos from the United States, from Asia, all different things. And like I said earlier, a few people in my own close friends where people seemingly have been involved in domestic violence. And what is the part of the church? And I say the church because I tend to hear these things more coming from African churches, not just Nigerian. You hear about Ghanaian, Ugandan, South African, sometimes even Brazilian. I've been to Brazil myself, and I can kind of tell a little bit from what I saw on television there. There's some aspects of this problematic situation that is increasingly growing all over Africa, Nigeria, including Ghana and all that, where a lot of churches, usually mega churches, are not doing what they should. So what is the part of the church? First of all, before I get there, I want to emphasize, if you're a woman watching this and you feel like you've been maltreated in your marriage or in your relationship, understand that DV, I'll use the word DV because YouTube is very sensitive. DV is not always necessarily physical. In fact, I tend to think that emotional is somewhat even worse than physical, because I've counseled. I'm not a counselor. When I say counseled, I'm just an ordinary woman. For some reason, I've had friends or friends' wives, and people who deemed it fit to confide some things, which sometimes have baffled me. And I will say to the person, if you weren't the one talking about your husband like this, I would say you're lying. You hear about couples, because of one argument or another, a husband is not talking to a wife, a wife is not talking to a husband and you two are living under the same roof for days, sometimes weeks or even months, that is unfathomable to me. To me, that is abuse. That is, I don't know, I can't even imagine. Because even as an individual, if you have a child, say your own child, I like to think as a mother, you raise a child to learn to communicate and not carry grudges. How much more someone who's supposed to be your spouse, who's supposed to love you, cherish you, look after you. So if you are one of those people, please, by all means, I'm begging you, stop it. Nobody should have to deal with domestic violence. Domestic violence, or DV, I prefer to say from now on, is a capital. So what I'm trying to say, I mean, from what I've gathered, in domestic violence, there's no excuse. And even through the eyes of the few women I've been able to counsel, I've done my counseling formally, just sharing experience and trying to support them. And unfortunately, it can only be the victim who, unless you convince the person to understand their self-worth, nobody, and I repeat, nobody deserves another human being laying a finger on you. If you're a man and you're watching this and you've been someone who oppresses your wife or your woman or whatever it is, stop it. Stop it. That is not an essence of strength. It is archaic. It is inexcusable. It is wrong. And those of you who claim to be children or men of God, what an insult to God. And now I want to bring in I'm asking the question, what is the duty of your community church? I want to use the word community church because I attend a very good church. Okay? I proclaim it, and I know there are many good churches out there. Unfortunately, there's no substitute word for church because I've come to realize, whether it's in London, in Nigeria, in Ghana, some parts of South America, there are lots of charlatans who are pretending and call themselves pastors or men of God, or people even that claim to be children of God and are in churches where you may come across or have come across a woman is going through abuse from the husband. Rather than step up and do the right thing, all you do is tend to cover up. Often you hear these unbelievable sentences from women especially. Oh, my pastor said go and pray about it. Nobody can pray out evil demon of violence from another person like that. And people, if you're one of those people watching this, I also want you, even if your church was the best, understand this. Your pastor is not a trained therapist. Your pastor has no qualification in relationships to be able to advise you. Because you see, I think what happens is that when fear sets in, desperation sets in, and I can understand a lot of women, especially those in diaspora, where you might feel lonely, you might feel like you don't know who to talk to, because I've heard so many stories, directly, indirectly, from friends of friends, from videos of victims speaking, and it makes me so frustratingly angry. As a church, if you claim to be a church, you should be offering anyone who comes to your doorstep and says, Pastor, my husband, my wife is doing this to me, step in immediately in a positive way and intercede. And if it's a man involved, talk to the person, especially with people with this African or Asian mentality of a man is always superior and a woman, I mean, nobody is superior to the other. All this archaic idea, some people don't want to let go because it suits them. You've got to realize that when you are abroad, especially, if you are maltreating someone, you run a risk yourself of being arrested for that. And if you're a pastor, do the right thing. Don't cover up because you're looking at someone who's maybe the offering they're giving to your church or whatever it is. It's wrong. It's wrong to send back a woman you know who's unhappy, who's been beaten up, who's been violated, and you send her back to her husband's home. And all this rubbish we hear people talk about, oh, marriage is still there, do us part. No, please, again, people, stop abusing your Bible. As a proud Christian myself, I say to people, I'm not claiming to be perfect, no, by no means. But if each and every one of us that claim to be Christians could just find even 5 minutes a day to get to read and learn little snippets of your Bible, it will be hard for someone else to come from wherever and lead you to believe that any little quote they want to twist is what God has made for you. The Bible says, even when we all go through the rituals of marriage, till death do us part, for better, for worse, in sickness, in health. It doesn't mean for better, for worse. That for worse does not mean within your confines of your own home. For worse being caused by you the man or you the woman. It's talking about for better, for worse of anything from outside thrown at us as a couple, that we will stand together and fight against it. It didn't mean if one person is a moron, an evil man or woman, and you're dealing with your wife or your husband and you expect a fellow human being to zip it and take it from you. No, that's not what it means. And you people must stop making a mockery of God. God did not, in fact, if anything in the Bible, God instructed you, the man, to love your wife as Christ loved the church. So if you profess to love a woman, how does that relate to laying a finger or using financial means to control somebody? Or, I even hear, I can't believe it's still happening even after our Father's Days. Some men suddenly want to oppress your woman because your wife says, please, I'd like to work, especially those of us who are in diaspora. Even if you're in Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Germany, wherever that may be, this is 2022. Who are these men? Who are these people? Especially those of you who left your countries of origin a long time ago. What have you learned in where you live? Have you allowed the country you emigrated to pass through you? Because I like to say to people, even the way I like to talk about raising my children or how I've raised my children, is that I'd like to think I raised them with the best of Africa and the best of the West, because neither culture is perfect. And so you watching this, how come you left your country 10, 15, 25 years ago and you're still talking even worse than people in your village? Because let's be honest, it's not everything about African culture or tradition that is good. Let's be honest, whether you like it or not, just like it's not everything about British or American or Russian or whatever culture, and again, culture is made for man. So even the cultures or traditions we felt back in the day may have been okay in our grandfather's time, in our parents' time. Today, especially for those of you who have made that crossing from your African countries, Asian countries, wherever you are, you're now in the Western world. and where you should see things a bit more differently, understand things a bit more open-mindedly, but you're still stuck in your ways. What does that say for you? What kind of children are you trying to raise? If you think your children, because they are not able to talk to you, they are hearing and seeing how you're treating their mother. I'm not saying there are not men who are oppressed, but forgive me on this stance, because of the high number of women, I keep referring to women. You have no right, absolutely no right, touching or pressing another human being. You are the husband. You are obliged, even God holds you accountable, to cherish that woman, love her like Christ loved the church. Control is not love. And you women, sometimes, especially African and Asian women, for God's sake, please, marriage is a beautiful thing, providing there's a mutual respect and love involved. Marriage is not for you to completely lose yourself and who you are and somebody else in the name of marriage. A day in, day out is oppressing you. Like this lady, we heard a very sad story by all accounts. Osinachi, I can't remember, the late gospel singer from Nigeria. Her mom spoke. They happen to be Igbo. I came from the Igbo region of Nigeria, so I understood a lot of the things. And my heart was bleeding. And if we are to believe what the mom, the sister, even the brother said in various videos I saw, it looks like the moment this lady met this evil man, literally, you are living in bondage. Marriage is supposed to be enjoyed. Marriage is supposed to uplift a woman. Yeah, I may sound old-fashioned. I say to my husband, it doesn't matter how rich I personally become. I say personally because at the end of the day, everything you make as a couple should be both of you. But I'm just saying, for the sake of argument, I still want to be treated like a woman. I am not here, I'm not your feminist, I'm not fighting anybody, but what I'm saying is that I challenge any man, if you treat a woman right, I'm yet to see a woman who rebel on a good man. And you men, whoever you are watching this, please, even if your father, or it was the way your father treated your mother, many of us in this generation, I'm in my early 50s, and I've always said it long before I had children. I'm grateful to my parents. No parent or grandparents were ever perfect. But I like to think that many of us, especially those of you that claim to have traveled or be exposed or educated, to try to do things a little bit differently and better than our parents did. There's nothing wrong with that, and we hope our children will learn from us and do something even better. And therefore, going back to the churches, please, if you are a member of, I hear a lot of stories about African churches, mega churches, especially in London, in Nigeria, in Ghana, which is why a lot of people, I included, I deliberately keep away from certain new kind of things that I don't understand. They call themselves churches. I'm a proud Anglican, and I'm a born again and a great believer in Christ, my Savior. And if you're a believer, you learn to read the Bible yourself. You learn to build a relationship between you and God. Trust me, it will be harder for somebody outside who claims to be a pastor that should be saving a woman who's in distress, a woman who needs your help. Instead, you send her back to that place. And often, from what we've come to realize, the church often takes the side of the man. And I hate using the word church because this is not the kind of church I attend. In fact, most Western churches don't just mention anything negative. The church will be there to pick you up, support you, help you, direct you. But in African ones, I hear it time and time, it's not hearsay. People directly victims that have given their own testimony. A couple of people even wrote in. And it's hard to believe that the same people that claim that a church should be somewhere you, as a victim, should be able to go and seek help, seek support, and that someone who claims to be a man or woman of God should actually do the right thing. How these people can pretend and keep on calling the name of God, that you're doing all the wrong things, all using God's name in vain. Only God knows how you sleep at night. And please, if you're a victim, stop going or running to your pastors. Your pastor is not a trained therapist. He's not a trained relationship expert. He's not a trained psychologist. If you're having problem in your marriage and you cannot confide in someone close by, if you're in the UK, anywhere in the world, Google it, put in, DV help for women, DV help for men. You're bound to find links that will lead you somewhere, someone that will help you in that situation. Don't remain in your church or worried about what people will say, because this is another thing I hear a lot in African communities, and it drives me mad. I am a great lover of marriage. I love everything marriage. I've been, in fact, some of the best time of my personal life is being married to my husband. So when I say, and I know it doesn't come lightly, but I want you watching this, if you are not in a good place, to understand marriage is not a do or die. It shouldn't be. In fact, the fact that you're married, that man should be making your life sweet. That man should be making you the queen of the castle. Castle can be your 1 bedroom, can be your 5 bedroom, it can be your 100 bedroom, but a man that loves you should be able to treat you with love, respect, and dignity. Therefore, if you know that things are getting worse and you're there suffering in silence because you're worried about people who may not even be thinking of you, or what will our church people say, or what will please, women, snap out of it. We're in 2022. I'm not saying go crazy. Every issue in a marriage leads to divorce. No. I like to think that you would have tried to reason, tried to solve things, and if it comes to a place where somebody's laying their hands on you or maltreating you, your mental state is questionable, you need to ask yourself if remaining in that situation is what you want your children to learn. Because believe it or not, children may not say much to you, especially the way many of you or us Africans, I like to think my kids are more open with me, but I'm still struck when I hear even those that have lived abroad 10 years, 20 years, you hear their grown children, you realize some people have carried the same bad habits from Africa, where your children are not even able to communicate how they feel with you, and you think just because you and your husband are doing whatever you're allowing him to do to you negatively, that your kids are not there learning. No, be the example you want your child to be. And this is not just about our female children. This is also more, especially with our sons. As mothers, it's our duty, and fathers, to please, if you're not doing it already, practice it. This is the modern time. If you have a son, teach your son how to be socially more sensitive, emotionally more sensitive. It's okay to express their feeling. It's okay even if they feel like crying. It's okay to say, I love you. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to love and let someone love you. Contrary to all that rubbish they used to talk about, to be a man in Africa or Asia or such countries or continents. Please, mothers, teach your boys to be the man you wish you would have married. Okay? So, and also for your daughters, if you are staying in a DV situation and not taking a stance, you are also telling your daughter it's okay to allow someone treat you anyhow. And mothers, wives, that is wrong. And if you're so-called pastor and you call yourself a true pastor, because some of you know you're charlatans, some of you know you're not real, you're just abusing the trust other people in your community are putting into you. If you're a true man of God or woman of God, or you serve in that church, whether you're in Germany, Spain, US, London, Abuja, Accra, whatever, Johannesburg, if you see a man or woman who's been abused, do the right thing. Do not insult God and claim to be a child of God and you stand by and see a fellow human being being maltreated. And if you cannot arouse that compassion in you, try and put yourself in that situation and ask, if this was my brother or my sister, what would I do? I'd like to think you wouldn't let, no matter what your brother or sister has done, you can never, if you're a normal human being, stand back and see your brother or sister go through hell. That would be most callous, because even Jesus gives us grace, even when we don't deserve it. Anyway, on this note, what I just want to ask is, what is the part, or what do you think is the part of the church where a church is aware of domestic issues between a man and a woman at home? Please drop me your comments, and if you have any suggestions or you want to share a story that concerns you personally, and I promise your name and photo will not be revealed, please write in to me and I'll be very glad to share it and see what we can learn and unlearn, because this channel is all about sharing our stories, sharing our views, and learning from other people how we will do things differently. On this note, thank you again for joining me. My name is IJ, and please hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you. And please write in and let me know what sort of topics you would like me to talk about. And thank you. And this video is meant for anybody, anywhere in the world, United Kingdom, United States, Pacific, Africa. I'd like to hope, and when you write in, please let me know where you're writing from, because these are all issues that affect all of us, irrespective of your color, your culture, or your tradition. Thank you again, and see you on the next video. Bye-bye.